Let's get some more analysis now on the Trump tariffs. They were on, they've been paused. What's happening? What are the implications? I'm joined now by trade expert. He's from UTS. He's the former Austrade chief economist, Professor Tim Harcourt. Tim, before I get your thoughts, I just want to recap for our viewers a little of what Donald Trump had to say. This was from the Oval Office.
Is there any chance that Canada or China could also get out of the tariffs after you struck a deal with Mexico?
Well, nobody's out with Mexico. We had a great talk with Mexico, and we had President Sheinbaum is a woman. I like her very much. We've had good relationships, but we have to stop fentanyl from coming in, whether I like somebody or not, and we have to stop the illegal aliens from coming in. I think we've lost 200,000 people on average a year for many years, much higher than the 100,000. Could be even closer to 300,000.
So let's start, Tim, if we can, with this situation with Canada and Mexico now paused. What's going on here as you read it?
It's amazing, isn't it? Isn't it great to see trade on the front pages, Kieran, just like we're back at Austrade? It's extraordinary. He's sort of using trade not more as an economic weapon, but as a weapon to achieve other foreign policy goals. For instance, with Mexico, as you heard, the immigration and the border being out of control under the Biden administration, and fentanyl with Canada. It seems there's been a pause in the Canadian case, whilst China is still on, and China's only 10% tariff, whereas in the election, he was going to impose a 60% tariff. So 25 for Mexico and Canada, only 10 for China when 60 was threatened.
Will China retaliate, do you think? They've got quite a few domestic problems of their own, Tim.
Yeah, Karen, I mean, they've moved from this, nation of shippers to nation of shoppers, moving away from their sort of export-led development to the domestic economy, local savings and investment. They're in a fair bit of trouble under Xi post-COVID, so they're not going to want to, start too much with the United States. But I've got to say, Kieran, the Vice Premier was saying there's no winners with trade wars. Well, he didn't say that when they put tariffs on Australia very recently on our farmers and exporters, and it actually hurt Chinese consumers and Chinese workers much more than it hurt Australia. So China's not really in a position to preach to the world about tariffs.
When we look at the Trump approach, I'm intrigued by it because some analysts say he's upturning what's referred to as a rules-based order globally. But another analysis would suggest he's enforcing it, saying that other nations have got to step up, contribute more, whether it be in a trade sense, a military sense, or whatever else. How do you see the reverberations, the impact on Australia too?
Yeah, well, the interesting is, people saying the Chinese proverb, you kill the chicken to scare the monkey with respect to China. But I think in a sense, you could say that China sort of attacked the international trading system for some time, and Trump's sort of pushing back on, if you like, people free riding on international trade or defence or NATO or the World Health Organization. So in some ways he's pushing back. And there is a view, I think, and that comes from his business background, that people have to pay their fair share, whether it be the EU with respect to NATO or Canada with respect to defence and trade. He's always said that he likes Canada, but he thinks they should pay their fair share and not be free riding off America. So in some ways he's pushing back on some nations who perhaps have been cheating the system, but doing it over a much longer period of time. He's sort of pushing back in a very rapid, very visual fashion, and that's why it's getting all the highlights.
Yes, they're highlights, they are for sure. Never a dull moment covering it. That is true. Professor Tim Harcourt from UTS, great to get your insights. Thank you.